Hi, this is Chris Brown of Grandwork Tools. I want to introduce you to my hammer filing jig. It has a magnet with which to attach it to a ferrous metal surface in your drill press. If you don't have ferrous metal, it has two holes to attach it to a piece of wood of a suitable size to clamp. The near side of it is very close to the drum. Because in a grand piano, the bass section, the shanks would go below grade as the hammer is held in place to file. And if I were to try and do it all in the flat, it would misfile the hammer. With an upright, the tenor section has the same problem, and so you would use it in this direction. But for the grand piano, we're going to do it in this direction. Before you bring the hammers to be filed, set up either a regulating rack or your let-off rack at strike and make a record of the hammer spacing scale. At strike, the wear marks on your hammer are a template of where the strings are at strike in the piano. If the hammers have been filed or they're new, then you just have to space them in the piano first and then make a record. When you come to regulate these hammers, having a spacing scale means that after you've traveled and squared the hammers, of course your spacing goes south, and you have a place to come back to. Use an electric screwdriver, remove all the hammers to a tray. By the way, keep the screws in order. A small screw in a large hole leads to a repair. This is an example of what they look like when I've done them. And I wear ear protection and a dust mask. And I also have a suck system and a blow system to keep the felt out of the air. The drum has a nice feature. Once it's installed and it's in the chuck, you can just turn it out a little bit and off comes the sleeve. Now, if you don't sand staples, a sleeve can last a long time, but there's always the possibility of a broken off voicing needle somewhere in the set of hammers, and that can cut a little channel which will show up in your filing. In which case, just pull the sleeve off, turn it over, and you have a fresh start. And of course you can have spare sleeves should that happen more than once. So just place the jig under the sanding drum and lower the drum down into it. And then I turn the little magnet and I'm ready for filing. I always start in the bass section where there's more felt, and different hammers are different from each other, and so it gives me a chance to get familiar with what the felt wants to do and possibly adjust the speed of the drill press if needed, or change the direction that I'm filing in. Occasionally you have hammers that insist on the old-fashioned way of filing them up in both directions and then taking off the tuft at the top of the crown. But generally speaking, I can go from one shoulder all the way around and past the other shoulder. And I set up my hand so that the tip of my thumb is on the tip of the molding, and mostly I have sort of natural down pressure from my hand and my arm and a little bit of side pressure, so I feed the hammer into the drum, and with more pressure as I go over the shoulder, less pressure as I go over the crown, and more again at the other side. It's very quick, does a very nice job, and I'll demonstrate on a few. So I had a little trouble with the camera being in my way, and I switched to a method that I actually prefer when the tails are short enough for me to do it, and that is that I clamp the hammer like this, and it just goes in between my thumb and my forefinger. But if I didn't have the tripod in the way, setting up from here is actually is very easy as well. Anyway, thank you for watching.